What do you and I do with the extra money that God sometimes gives us? So for instance, maybe you have received a bonus recently. Maybe it was a stimulus check. Maybe it was a tax return. Somehow, some way, God gave you extra income during this season. What do we do with it? May I suggest 4 worthy investments of the extra money that God sometimes puts into our life? Number 1, would you consider saying thank you back to God for His gift by just giving to your local church via a tithe? Sometimes you and I are tempted to only give to our local church for services rendered. In other words, if they meet particular needs and they give me what I want, then I'll give back to that church. But during a COVID-19 season like this, churches, just like ours, is limited in the services that it can render. And we certainly do not want to give to the church for that reason. We want to give back to the church because ultimately we're giving to God. When you and I give our tithes to God, we are giving a tangible thank you to God for what He has given. Number 2, have you ever considered reducing your debt? Debt can be like a weight that just pulls us under the water, keeps us from making headway and forward motion for God. Maybe you have debt from a year ago, 10 years ago, or even longer than that. When God gives you extra and you've already said thanks by way of tithe, use that money to reduce debt. Don't just buy something frivolous because you want to. Let's take care of some frivolous buying we may have done years previous. Let's get out of debt. Randy Alcorn has been a huge help to me. And one of the things that he said in a book that has changed my view of money, probably more than any other book than the Bible, he challenged me to consider that when God gives extra income, to not think of it as a way that God has increased my standard of living, but perhaps God increased my standard of giving for the purpose of furthering God's kingdom. That brings me to my 3rd worthy investment of money, and that is to invest in someone who is in full-time ministry for the Lord. When you and I invest in a missionary or a pastor or someone who is working full-time for God, we have the opportunity to receive an eternal reward from that type of investment. Look for someone who is faithful. Look for someone who is serving the Lord and invest in them so that they can keep serving the Lord. Finally, in number 4, may I encourage you this: look for a ministry that has need and invest in that ministry. At this point, I really want to encourage us to consider a ministry that is near and dear to the heart of Faith Baptist Church. It's the ministry of Wolf Mountain Christian Camp in Grass Valley. Our church has enjoyed men's retreats and ladies' retreats. We have enjoyed sending our children and our teens to camp summer after summer. Many of the staff attend our church and we love them dearly. But because of this COVID-19 season, they are unable to do summer camp as they normally would. As you can guess, because of that, a lot of the normal income they would receive from summer campers is limited. I want to encourage each of us, if you're looking for a place to invest some extra money, consider Wolf Mountain. I really think it's a place worthy of our investment. There are 4 ideas that I set before you, regardless of which ones or which one you choose. May God help each of us use our extra for the Lord.